This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250 plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM. Channel 80. Number to call up as always is 888-729-3776. We know what happened yesterday. This is not news to us. This is not news to us. We know exactly what happened yesterday, okay? We saw Magic Johnson speaking to the media. We saw Magic Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson, 5-time champion, 9 trips to the NBA Finals, greatest point guard to have ever played the game of basketball, a basketball savant if ever there was one. Somebody who is the antithesis of everything Phil Jackson was when he was in New York City. He not only accepts the responsibility of being president of basketball operations for an NBA franchise, he embraces it. He's not just looking for some capologist to create cap space and have draft picks and think that's all you have to do in order to build a franchise. He's actually going out there and recruiting. It's not the New York Knicks who considers it a coup d'etat if you end up getting somebody to go out to dinner with you. This is Irvin Magic Johnson. Tinseltown, La La, L.A., Melrose, Venice Beach, L.A. Live, and everything around and in between. Recognizing the purple and gold, recognizing Laker Nation, understanding the responsibility and culpability that comes along with it when you don't get the job done. And understanding that this is what it comes down to. Irvin Magic Johnson, president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers, spoke to the media yesterday afternoon on a couple of fronts. A, the pressure that comes along with being the president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers, the pressure that is mounting because free agency is rapidly approaching, and he's got to get something done, and understanding what the mentality will be if he doesn't get a superstar to come and wear the purple and gold. Magic Johnson on the pressure that's accompanied with his job right now.
No pressure on me. I mean, I'm gonna do my job. I've always done that. Look, I've been playing in, you know how many finals I've been in? So you think I'm worried about this? I played against Larry Bird in the finals. I mean, come on, man. I've been in 9 finals. You know, I've been in college NCAA championship, you know. I'm Magic Johnson. I'm still the same dude. I'm not going to change. There's no pressure on me. I'm going to do my job. That's what I do. I do my job. I'm excited. It's fun.
There was one thing that Magic Johnson said. I respect that sound. Listen to the next when he talked about 2 summers to improve the Los Angeles Lakers or else. Listen to this.
Next summer, if nobody comes and I'm still sitting here like this, then it's a failure. But if you judge us on 1 summer, that's ridiculous. Then a lot of dudes shouldn't be in their roles. I mean, because if we're banking on 1 summer for the Lakers, we're in trouble, right? We're in trouble because you have to give us time. This class, like I told you before I took the job and when I took the job, it's going to be a 2-summer thing for the Lakers. This summer and next summer. And that's it. And then if I can't deliver, I'm going to step down myself. She won't have to fire me. I'll step away from it, you know, because then I can't do this job.
See, to me, that's what makes Magic Johnson so great. That's what makes him so phenomenal. He is an individual that is willing to accept the responsibility of being the president of basketball operations for the Los Angeles Lakers. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are in a media capital like the City of Angels, Los Angeles, the number 2 market in the United States of America, when you have 16 banners hanging in the rafters, when you have statues of yourself and other Laker greats draped outside surrounding the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. That's the attitude you're supposed to have. You see, Magic Johnson ain't Phil Jackson with the New York Knicks that spoke to the media in September and then we couldn't find him until April. That ain't Irvin Magic Johnson. That's an Irvin Magic Johnson that understands what the responsibility is of heading a franchise with the tradition that the Los Angeles Lakers have. Los Angeles Lakers won a title in the 70s. Los Angeles Lakers won titles in the 80s. Los Angeles Lakers won titles at the start of the new millennials. Los Angeles Lakers won titles in the last 10 years. From George Mikan to Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaquille O'Neal. From Jerry West to Magic to Kobe. They understand it. They get it. This is what it's all about. This is what it comes down to. This ain't some damn expansion franchise. These are the Lakers. And this is what it's about. And bravo, bravo, bravo to Irvin Magic Johnson for accepting the accountability that a president is supposed to accept. Not passing the buck, not looking to blame everybody else for your foibles or your flaws. The man said it. I don't get the job done. She ain't got to fire me. I'll quit. Good for him. He doesn't have to because he's not doing a bad job now. And even if he does fail, he doesn't deserve to be fired. But let's be very, very clear. If Magic Johnson doesn't get one of these marquee free agents here in the next 2 years, it will be a failure. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James, Paul George, Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, possibly Kevin Durant are going to be free agents this summer and next summer. You, the Lakers, you can't get one? You, Irvin Magic Johnson, you can't get one? I want to hear it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Anybody can get it. It ain't like Magic Johnson, president of basketball operations in Utah. It ain't like Magic Johnson is overseeing a sport in Chicago when the only time they play is from December to March, where it's freezing as hell. This is L.A. all year round. That's a destination spot for everybody. Where half the players are in the off season. Where LeBron got 2 houses at? Where does Melo have a house at? Where does CP3 have a house? Where did he have a house at? Hell, Dwight Howard had a crib out there. Everybody looking to be in L.A. Knowing that they charge 12.3%, if not higher, in state income taxes. Still want to be in L.A. This is not confusing to anybody. We understand this. We get this. You should be able to bring somebody out there. He doesn't over the next 2 summers, he will have failed. Doesn't mean he deserves to be fired. I'm just saying he will have failed in his mission because make no mistake, it is a mission and it should be a mission. And there is no way around that. Let's stop sugarcoating this stuff. I believe in Irvin Magic Johnson, and I believe he's going to get it done. And I believe those quotes came out of his mouth because he damn well knows he's going to get the job done. But I will not apologize. Nor do I think anybody should have to, saying if Magic Johnson doesn't get at least one of these marquee dudes, he will have failed. Because that is not what we expect from Irvin Magic Johnson. He should be able to recruit. And it is that simple. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Now that I got that out the way, let me get into some other stuff. Because we're hearing reports. Well, at least I'm hearing reports. First of all, Adrian Wojnarowski, our NBA insider extraordinaire, along with Brian Windhorst, are both reporting that and Ramona Shelburne, by the way, that who does a great job for us, that the Lakers are feeling an elevated level of pressure to work out a deal for Kawhi Leonard. because that appears to be a contingency upon which LeBron James is going to be willing to come to L.A. I don't know that to be true. That is what they're basically reporting. Let me also tell you what I've been hearing. I'm hearing that Kawhi Leonard isn't that enamored with the thought of coming to L.A. with LeBron. Not because of LeBron himself, the person or the basketball player, but because of the paparazzi-like atmosphere he will ultimately create in L.A. Kawhi ain't built that way. Kawhi ain't the type of player that wants to be a part of all of that. Kawhi just want to grab his lunch pail, go to work, go home. That's the kind of guy he is. Now, obviously, this could all be a smokescreen, ladies and gentlemen. It could be the Clippers leaking stuff out there to the masses, hoping somebody grabs hold of it and just puts that out there without acknowledging the fact that the Clippers could be putting this out there because in their perfect world, they want folks to believe they have a chance at Kawhi Leonard. Remember, they just traded Austin Rivers yesterday. Yes, his contract was expiring, and you got in return Martin Gortat from the Washington Wizards, whose contract is also expiring. As an aside, for those of you who don't know, my sources tell me, obviously early in the year, Gortat had a real big-time issue with John Wall as teammates with the Washington Wizards. Scott Brooks constantly allowing folks to switch all the time instead of manning up and forcing them to guard folks because Scott Brooks is known for not liking confrontation, basically took heat off individual players by allowing switches to take place every second. As a result, because John Wall wasn't considered somebody too eager to guard anybody, Gortat found himself in the precarious situations of having to guard guards, quicker, smaller players. He's older, clearly devoid of the lateral movement that will enable him to guard guys. Was lamenting the fact that he was put in bad situations by John Wall's lack of defense, said so in a team meeting. John Wall turned around and MF'd him to death. From that moment forward, Gortat wanted out of Washington. Didn't want to play in Washington any longer. Didn't want to play with John Wall any longer. And that situation fell apart. With the Clippers obviously concerned that they may lose DeAndre Jordan, who can opt out of his deal by Friday, $24 million he's owed. Thinking that he's worth about $20 million a year, that he could be in a position to get a multi-year deal instead of having to play the last year of his contract at $24 million. They're concerned they might lose him, so they exercised a backup plan with getting a big who they could put on the floor in the event that that DeAndre Jordan is gone, so Gortat would be there for them. That's why Gortat is in L.A. Not to mention the fact that Austin Rivers, the son of Coach Doc Rivers, wasn't particularly liked by a lot of guys. I'm not saying that Austin Rivers did anything wrong. I never heard anything like that. But it is clear that a lot of guys talk about Austin Rivers behind his back. And because they talk about him behind his back, they don't particularly have the level of respect for him that I personally think he deserves to some degree. Combined with the fact that he was approaching the last year of his deal and he wasn't going to get paid, they wanted to put him in a better situation to get paid because being a backup to both Bradley Beal and John Wall would put Austin Rivers in a better position to prove himself worthy of a contract extension after next season. So he's in a better situation in Washington. Gortat is in a good situation in L.A. DeAndre Jordan is up for grabs as to what he may do. And there is what you have. Either way you slice it, the real story behind all of this is the Clippers' mission, which is to get their numbers down to $60 million so they'll have enough cap space to go after a marquee free agent, a.k.a. Kawhi Leonard, next summer. That's what they're out to do. And this is a step in that direction as far as they're concerned. That means they would want to put out there that Kawhi wants to come to L.A. It's not a foregone conclusion that he'll go to the Lakers. Yes, the Lakers are the favorites, but if he doesn't end up with the Lakers, he wouldn't mind coming to the Clippers. And the Clippers will break the bank in order to get Kawhi Leonard to them in L.A., which is where he's from. Lakers are his preference, but the belief is, or at least the Clippers want the belief to be, he has not ruled them out. And there is what the situation is. 888, say ESPN. That's 3776. So we got Kawhi with the Lakers and possibly the Clippers as landing spots. We've got reports coming from Woj, as well as Brian Windhorst and Ramona Shelburne, that the Lakers are feeling intensified pressure to work out a deal for Kawhi in order to get LeBron. That means LeBron is considering them, but doesn't want to come there alone. Even though I'm also hearing that's not necessarily true. He might be willing to come near by himself because he's pleased with the young studs that the Lakers have. One other thing that I've heard, Julius Randle is not a lock to remain with the Lakers. He's a restricted free agent, which means that somebody could make him an offer. They would probably have to overpay Julius Randle. But if they were to make an offer overpaying him in order to keep him, the Lakers would have to match that offer. And if the Lakers were to match that offer, it might inhibit their ability to offer a second max contract in the event that they get somebody like LeBron James. So they have that to consider. And I'm hearing that offer will come from the Brooklyn Nets, who could have the ability to offer him an exorbitant amount of dollars. And they're not the only team that wants Julius Randle. So it's getting very, very interesting out here, ladies and gentlemen. And the story in it all is that the Lakers are in the middle of everything. They're in the middle of it when it comes to LeBron. They're in the middle of it when it comes to Kawhi Leonard. If Paul George still hasn't made up his mind, it's because the Lakers are a second destination spot to OKC. So they're in the middle of that discussion. Then you got the Julius Randle angle. And as a result, since a trade might need to be made in order to get some of the players you want, that means Lonzo Ball is in the middle of it. So the Lakers are all over the place. You talk about being a major, major, major player in all of this free agent stuff. It's got the Lakers written all over it. How this all pans out remains to be seen. But I will confess to you that everything is getting very, very, very interesting as Friday's deadline for the LeBron James and DeAndre Jordans and others to opt in or opt out of their present contracts remains on the horizon. 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call up. That's 888-729-3776. So much stuff to get into. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. There's so much stuff to get into. And I love the fact that Magic Johnson is in the midst of all of this stuff. It's very, very important to me. Because let's face reality. Isn't it a beautiful thing right now? Now, if you're New York, you should be jealous. If you're Laker Nation, you should be thankful. Because if you're Laker Nation, isn't this such a significant upgrade from the days of wondering which Hooters Jim Buss was at? I mean, isn't this a significant upgrade from all of that? I mean, come on now. You were wondering whether he was at Hooters, whether he was at the game, whether he was at the racetrack, or whatever the case may be. You certainly didn't think that he was paying attention to basketball matters. You just didn't think that. That was the issue with Jim Buss. Okay? Now the Lakers seem back on track. They're in the middle of things the way that they should be. In the case of the New York Knicks, you should be jealous. But you should also be preparing for 2019. Because the Lakers are going to be a player in 2019. The Clippers are going to be a player in 2019. And the Knicks are supposed to be a player in 2019. By the way, the Chicago Bulls are going to be a player in 2019. So we got to pay attention to all of those things. 3 largest markets in the United States of America has 5 NBA teams between them, none of whom made the playoffs this past season. That had better change in 2018-2019 season. That had better change. And I got news for you. I got my eyes on Tinseltown. Because even though it's Doc Rivers and Lawrence Frank and Ringer, the general manager, who've made these decisions to move Austin Rivers, who are contemplating what to do with DeAndre Jordan, wondering if they could find a sucker, maybe like the Wizards, willing to give up Otto Porter for his services to take that off their hands. All of this stuff is stuff to wonder about. I don't want to hear Boogie Cousins' name because he was injured. He wants the max. And on top of it all, he's not expected to be ready for next season because of that Achilles injury that he had last year. So we know not to assume anything with him. But there is so much stuff going on. It cannot be forgotten. It cannot be underestimated. We got to pay attention to all of that stuff. Jerry West and Magic Johnson competing against one another. Jerry West may be a consultant, but everybody knows he knows talent better than most, if not better than everybody. And he keeps himself in the mist for a reason. Kind of knows what he's doing. Don't underestimate his impact. 888-SAY-ESPN is the number to call up. This 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
According to some reporting at Los Angeles Daily News, not the Los Angeles Times, the Daily News, anonymous GM says LeBron calling players he'd like to team with. I mean, duh. So what? Players talk to players all the time. And by the way, sometimes it ain't about basketball. I promise you, if I'm hanging out in L.A., I'll run into a few players. They hanging out with each other. They ain't talking basketball. They hanging. They're hanging out. So, and even if he was calling players about, trying to figure out who's going to come play or whatever, what's wrong with that? What's he supposed to do? Want to come play by himself? Got no problems with that whatsoever. To the phones we go at 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Chris in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, baby.
Hey, Stephen A. Good afternoon. Real quick,
Hold on. You sound like you in a tunnel or something. Can you pick up the phone or do something? You need to sound better than that for my audience, bro. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Stephen A.
Go ahead.
But two quick things. Number one, I don't see the Clippers as a serious threat, regardless of the fact that Jerry West is there, because like you've always mentioned, the Clippers will always play second fiddle to the Lakers. So I don't believe any big-time free agent will want to come play for the Clippers.
Stop right there.
That's just my...
Stop right there. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Let me tell you something I would like you to consider, though. The Lakers can't have everybody, A. B, enough people want to play in L.A. C, when you talk about a personality like Kawhi Leonard, does he really care about the glitz and glamour or second fiddle or whatever the case may be? You got to consider that, too. He's not the kind of person that particularly cares about that stuff. That you have to remember.
Okay. I understand that. And another quick thing I want to point out, Stephen, if you don't mind, with the whole LeBron saga and him potentially coming here to play here. Like I said, I was of the component. I never wanted LeBron to come here because I feel like he would stunt the growth of our young guys. That's just my opinion. But has anybody taken into consideration the possibility of when things aren't going well here in LA, if he was to come sign with the Lakers, we're not winning games, we're not competing, we're at the level we're supposed to compete at, that there could be some disagreements between him and Magic, because when he gets here, he does choose to come in.
Here's what I'm not considering. I'm not considering that LeBron's going to come to L.A. and you're going to lose more games than you've been losing. You're not going 26-56 with LeBron like you did 2 years ago. You're not going 35-47 with LeBron like the Lakers did last season. You get LeBron James in L.A., you're going to have 50-win seasons.
I don't know about that, Stephen.
Absolutely. It's nothing to even think about. There's no question. Look, Utah with Donovan Mitchell, a rookie, won 48 games last year. Oklahoma City, with Bill Donovan struggling to coach the team, won 48 games last season. Portland, with just Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, won 49 games last season and was the number 3 seed in that West. Don't tell me LeBron James with the Lakers ain't winning 50 games. I don't believe it.
Okay. Well, with that being said, Stephen A., if in fact that we don't get to 50 games and we're not playing well, do you see LeBron seeking out Magic like he did with Dan Gilbert and those guys in Cleveland, telling Magic what he feels like the Lakers need?
Let me ask you this question, Chris. Is Kobe Altman, God bless him and respect him, but is Kobe Altman and Dan Gilbert on the level of Magic Johnson when it comes to basketball?
No, of course not, Stephen A.
So what I'm trying to say to you is that LeBron James having a conversation and telling Magic Johnson what he might want if he were to end up in L.A. is not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. What's the big deal?
Okay.
Wait. What's he supposed to do, Chris? Go to work every day and then put duct tape on his mouth and shut the hell up? He's LeBron James.
No.
He's a basketball savant himself. What's wrong with having a conversation?
Well, I'm looking at it from the standpoint like he used a lot of excuses in Cleveland, Stephen, for what he didn't have. So I'm saying,
but Chris, look at what he was working with in Cleveland. Now, he was at fault with it to some degree, but I got to admit, Chris, I know you love your basketball and you know your basketball, but I got to get on you. I call my man Michael Collins that covers golf for us, Dear Abby Collins. Chris, I'm going to start calling you that too. You've been calling up a lot lately with a whole bunch of emotional stuff. A whole bunch of, how do you think LeBron's going to feel if things are going a little bit tough at times? Hey, do you think he's going to have a conversation with Magic Johnson? Well, what is he supposed to do? Why wouldn't Magic Johnson and LeBron James talk basketball? Listen to yourself, Chris. Why would they not have conversations about basketball? What are they supposed to do? Talk about Cookie and Savannah?
No, of course not.
Come on, man.
No, of course not, Stephen. And that's not that. I mean, I think you're taking out of context what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. But I know you got to let me go. I'm just saying when things aren't going well, I know they're going to talk basketball. I'm of the mindset the Magic is going to say, look at the bad. We have 16 of them. We don't want no excuses. 24 was able to bring them home. We expect the same from you.
Magic's not going to say anything. They've missed the playoffs the last 5 years. If LeBron goes there, Magic's going to be thankful. There's nothing in LeBron James' resume that tells you he's going to slack off. He ain't going to work hard. He's not going to commit himself to trying to be the best he can possibly be. That's not Magic. That's not LeBron. So if LeBron is going to work hard and strive to be the best that he can be, what is Magic going to have to complain about? There's nothing. Listen, I am going to be critical of LeBron when he deserves it. But make no mistake about it, I recognize that he's one of the greatest to have ever lived. I constantly praise him for that. He never cheats the game. He always works hard. He always commits himself to excellence. He's always one of those guys. Nobody outworks him. Nobody's more committed than him. I've always given him credit. He's an incredible role. Do I need to pull out my breaking news? Incredible role model, philanthropist. Great father, great husband, the I Promise Foundation, the LeBron James Family Foundation. I mean, do I have to say the actor, producer, director, writer extraordinary? Do I have to say anything else?
No,
what more can he do? What more can he do?
He's the best. No, he's the best. Okay, Stephen A.
All right, man.
The call, man.
Take it easy.
Thank you so much.
Dominic, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Stephen A., what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
All right. Two quick points of my own, but I think just off the last caller, I think in the context that he meant like, can LeBron succeed a certain level of control that he's always had? He's always had a level of control with the Cleveland Cavaliers that he may not necessarily have with the Lakers. So I mean, I think maybe in that context,
but here's my point to both of y'all. That question is irrelevant if he chooses to go to L.A. Now, if you're sitting there and debating whether he's going to elect to stay in Cleveland or L.A., and that's one of your rationales, I understand that. But y'all are asking the question, once he arrives in L.A., will he be able to deal with this? Well, wouldn't he know that situation before he got there?
Definitely, I understand that.
So why is that relevant once he gets there? Once he gets there, he's there. That's something to consider before he gets there. Once he arrives, that's an irrelevant question.
Right. My 2 points. One, I believe in Magic Johnson as a Lakers fan. I believe in him just because of his resume and him as a personality. You trust him. So you really, you look in high hopes and knowing that, okay,
Dominic, I got to cut you off because your signal's terrible, bro. You're going in and out and my audience is not hearing you. My apologies. Let's go to Keith. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Keith.
Stephen A., you my man.
Thank you.
I'm glad you cut him off because he wasn't getting it right. So the bottom line is people missed what Magic said. Magic is a businessman. Matter of fact, here's an excerpt from what Magic said last year.
These guys are hard to come by. Kobe, LeBron.
Stop right there. Cut that off. We can't hear that. You can't play some sound for us on the radio. Well, you lost your mind, Keith. You speak. We've got the sound. Leave that to me. You say what you got to say. Go ahead.
So, based on when LeBron came through our barbershop last year, August 2017, he was solidifying his business. You know what we're talking about, the family business. He solidified the second house of purchasing 2 miles from the first house.
He got that. He's expanding his 200 franchises of Blaze Pizzas all over Los Angeles. He got that. All his boys, like you said, you confirmed, have houses in L.A. He said he want to be a part of a legacy team. And in this excerpt, Magic was saying that we're going after LeBron and Kyrie Leonard first.
Kawhi Leonard. Go ahead.
Kawhi Leonard first. And he said, because we're bringing the Lakers back to the greatness that they were. And I understand that. And what a lot of people missing also, Stephen A., is listen, with great players, you have to have a great coach. So people are sleeping. Jenny Buss is definitely connected and been connected to that guy, Phil Jackson. So people are sleeping on Magic Johnson's ability, because what does magic mean? You make things that's impossible possible. So, and
whoa. You might be right. There's no way to definitively state you're wrong. But I also think it's important for you to know LeBron James ain't particularly fond of Phil Jackson. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay. I just wanted to say that. That's important to know. You bringing up Phil Jackson and his connection to Jeannie. Phil Jackson don't have that connection with LeBron. And who you think matters more to Jeannie Buss right now? Phil Jackson or LeBron? A matter of fact, we don't even know if I think Phil Jackson and Jeannie Buss broke up. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, but didn't you remember she just tweeted last week out of New York and said, don't underestimate us?
I understand don't underestimate you, but that ain't got nothing to do with Phil.
In the ultimate last.
And by the way, and they are very fond of Luke Walton. They're very fond of Luke Walton.
We're on the same page. So, and the final point that I'm making is what LeBron said, that his ultimate legacy, what he wants it to be. Listen.
Goodbye. Have a nice day. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Keith, I will never, ever in life allow you on my radio show again if you play sound from somebody else. I have the sound. When you call up here on this radio show, ladies and gentlemen, you speak. You don't play no damn sound from an interview. You think we don't have the interview? If I wanted the sound on my show, I will add it to the show. And I'm telling you that out of love, Keith, because I don't want to hang up on you and ban you from this show. But I will if you ever play sound on this show again. I play the sound, not you. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Our very own Ramona Shelburne will be on 10 minutes past hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Looking forward to talking to her. She's based out of L.A., does an exceptional job of covering the Lakers and the Clippers out there, and I'm looking forward to conversing with her about NBA free agency, particularly as it pertains to Laker Nation. Let's go back to the phones at 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. CJ, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Mr. Stephen A. Smith, thank you for taking my call. I love your views on basketball.
Thank you, man. Go ahead. I love my views on everything, but that's a story for another day. Go ahead.
All right, so really quick, I know you had a couple of Laker fans on the show earlier, and I didn't hear any of them say how refreshing it is to hear statements like that coming from Magic Johnson, especially someone in his position.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. It was refreshing.
As a Knicks fan, I am totally jealous of that whole Laker situation. Whether they get LeBron or not, it looks very promising for their future. But the reason why I called is I want to talk about the NBA awards show. I was very discouraged watching it this year. I feel like LeBron James should have won MVP. I feel like Anthony Davis should have won the defensive player. And I feel like Donovan Mitchell should have won the Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't know how you feel about any of that, but I feel like they gave it to James Harden simply because, you know, the Chris Paul injury, and they feel like maybe if Chris Paul was there, he would have beat Golden State. But I still think Golden State would have won that game.
either way if they had Chris Paul or not, but I feel like that's why they gave it
I don't give a damn.
him.
I don't care about that. I don't view that way. I think James Harden averaged 30 for the best team in the league, and that he was devoid of turmoil and what have you that existed in Cleveland, primarily due to LeBron James. I thought James Harden deserved it. That's where I stand with it, and I'm not changing my position on that one bit. But I got to run, CJ. I appreciate the call so much, buddy. Thank you. Let's go to Mike in Fresno. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Mike.
Stephen A., what is up?
What's going on? Talk to me.
Just want to say appreciate you. Been listening to you a long time, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Going forward, there's one scenario when we're talking about this whole free agency and trade moves and stuff like that nobody's really talking about, but I deal in probabilities, not possibilities. And the probability of Kawhi Leonard being traded to the Lakers from San Antonio is extremely low because Popovich and the rest of the crew knows what that will mean. So Kawhi Leonard doesn't go to the Lakers. There's also a good probability that Paul George re-signs with OKC because it's well documented how much
that's
he
true.
likes. Right?
So what are you saying?
So what I'm saying is if Kawhi Leonard goes somewhere else or stays in San Antonio, doesn't go to the Lakers, if Paul George re-signs with OKC, then what are we talking about with LeBron?
All right. First of all, you took too long to make your point because I'm running out of time. So let me interrupt you and get right to it. Number one, LeBron may not care whether any of them come there immediately because it's not just about this year's free agent class. It's about next, number one. Number two, even though Kawhi Leonard probably won't get traded to L.A., keep in mind that he's made it clear that he wants to go to L.A. and that he's approaching the last year of his deal. So even though you can't do but so much this summer, you would be in a position to do a lot next summer. And that is the issue in question here. So really what it comes down to in terms of what we're talking about with LeBron James is whether LeBron James is willing to be a part of Laker Nation to such a degree that he's willing to commit to them, not just for this upcoming season, but he's willing to end his career there by playing there the next 3 or 4 years. Because if that's the case, then you've got next summer to look forward to, like Magic Johnson asked you to. 888-SAY-ESPN. Hour number 2 up next with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.